แต่ว่าอันนี้มีแฟนตัวอะไรแล้ว
ไม่โลกนะครับความไม่มั่นใจทีนี้แล้วมันมีที่ไหนได้ไม่โลกทำได้นะขอเสียงปรบมือกับเทนนี่หน่อยครับ
A big volume here, instead you provide more open space, like a green space for people. So it's almost become a sculpture park, right? You go in there, you find all these strange shaped structures. Well, actually, inside each stones, there are unique exhibition spaces. The interesting thing is when you're inside the city and look at this building, the background is nature, it's the ocean, right? It's the ocean, mountain, so all the nature element. So suddenly you realize this building can be there like billion years ago. So like from old time, from ancient times, like a big rock or something. So it's different from the view when you have the modern architecture as a background. So I think that makes me think that when you make something cultural, contextual, maybe the context can be really long time. It's like ancient future. Can be, you can drag this time space to a very large structure, and inside the lab you have an elevator moving you like going up with angle, like the ski lift, when you go ski. So here is the space underneath this structure. You can be in all the surrounded by the green, the nature. This last image, I try to show you a different scale, really small scale. It's in Japan, an art project. You see this green valley with a river in there, and on the side there is a cave, there is a tunnel. So inside this tunnel, there was a concrete tunnel, but they want to transform into art space. And I made this very simple solution. We put the reflection material on the wall, and we put the water from the river into the cave. So you can walk on the water, very shallow water, and then you can go to the edge and then look at the river outside. But once you go in there, other people will look at you. They will think you are walking on the edge of the sky and the water, and reverse the sky, right? Because the mirror reflection. So that's something remind me how we feel about the nature, because everything here is a nature. What we have done is to create a mirror effect. So there's some atmosphere about the nature, but beyond the nature. So I think that's something I was thinking about architecture, because everything we're doing is man-made. In the city, in the countryside, it's a man-made, but we try to use a man-made structure to show our emotional reaction towards the nature around us. It's not the real nature, right? But it can be a new poetic atmosphere around the nature topic. So I think that's some theme around all my practice. When I talk about the nature, we all talk about sustainability, green architecture, about the data, about the physics. What about we extend this topic into more spiritual and emotional side of the nature? Because that's something I find really interesting from the past, from the traditional architecture, from the old city planning, they were built around human spirit and showing the appreciation about the nature. Thank you very much. Not only the green trees, but also ocean, desert, rocks, everything we feel we can connect to them. So it's really diverse. What if we talk about this emotion when we talk about architecture or the urban development?
Yeah, you can see like your work is very emotional because it's not just the architecture or the nature, but also the interaction between people within the architecture. So, yeah.
Well, actually, I showed the first photo is Beijing city, right? It's an old classic planning. But if we imagine the classic gardens, Japanese gardens, Chinese gardens, the building objects was never the only thing. It's always coexist with other things, the trees, the rock, the water, and also all these elements has to curate plants in certain way to achieve this experience or atmosphere or whatever. So that the goal is when people go in there, they find their spirit or their emotion are connected to something or go beyond something. I think that's a great architecture. That's why we still keep those buildings as a cultural heritage because they have this value. I think in modern world, modern buildings is totally missing this. We talking about objects more than the spirit thing.
That's why your architecture is very exceptional. So I will leave the questions to the floor. So I think like you might have some more questions because we are running out of time. Any questions?
My name is Mr. Royal Avanish. I noticed from your work, is that I think there's a notion of Chinese thinking on yin and yang, because mostly my observation is that most of your form, is a yin, it's more like a feminine, right? More curvilinear, more horizontal. That's why it's merging very well with nature. And also, when you build it in a city, it becomes a counterpoint, of the city, which is quite yang, a lot of vertical architecture and sharp edges and all that, So in that case, my feeling is that you are quite influenced by ancient thinking, You alluded to some kind of feng shui or whatever in the old Chinese treatise, about yin and yang, about the balance of the universe and all that. Thank you.
So, any more questions? Okay, back there.
Okay, so thank you for your inspiring presentation. I think you mentioned about you use your physics and nature and everything to run like your thought and notion to the projects that you have done. My question is, like sometimes when you create, their design from the sketch and you're trying to put it into computer, there's a moment that the computer might generate something that doesn't, like that accurate to your sketch, and that's where the physics comes involved. So I think my question is, do you allow the physics to get involved and lead the design, or you keep your sketch, your main idea as it was?
I try to separate different phases. I think the first phase is a more artistic phase. I want to keep my original, responding to whatever the issues I see. So I try to keep my sketch. I think the sketch keep most. I don't know. Sometimes the randomness is also part of it. But eventually, you need to go into the the realization process. That process involves a lot of technology. You want to use all the tools necessary to realize whatever you have done. Yeah, I think this is quite clear for me, the two different phases. I think it's important for the first phase to be really connect to your emotion, because I don't think now when you look at the architecture history, there's no absolutely right or wrong. You know, there's just a proof that how people think, how they dreaming things, how they angry about something or ambitious about something. It just shows. So maybe in the future it's important, even making mistakes. So AI never make mistakes, and in the future the AI will rule everything and following correct logic that we already established for AI, right? So maybe for human being making mistake is very important. It's very meaningful for other people. You see something is good building, but you feel something complex. So that's something important as a viewer, also as a creator.
So did you start with the hand drawing or sketch every project?
Yes. Yes. The sketch you can done in 1 minute, but you probably would take a couple days, go there, meeting people, knowing the history, and then you have all the complex information in the back of your head, but the reaction, I can have multiple solutions, but I want to respect the instinct. So maybe that's the most important thing.
Directly from the brain. Okay. I think we have only last questions. The time for the last questions.
Hi, I'm over here. Just in order to understand your architecture more, and I look at your background, you graduated from Beijing University, right? And then you went to Yale University. So my question is, and your architecture is, I have to say, very different from typical Chinese architecture. So I would like to know what's different from Beijing University to Yale University, and whether your education at Yale University, what did it teach you, or did it guide you in certain way that you produce your architecture today?
Certainly, different schools they're different, and the environment, all the environment also different. But I think that as a designer, you're always trying to be different from the environment as well. So when I was in college, I find my work is different. Then I think later on I find that's become something really important. As a student, sometimes you like many things. But when I realized that, I try to not doing those things, not everything necessarily that I like. I want to find what's inside you is different from the other people. And then later on, you see, I built a lot of these special things. You find actually there are many people that think they agree with you. They're not necessarily always against you because you're special. They agree with you, but you need to show that. So people agree with you, they can see that and they can support. Because in the end, all the public buildings are public for everyone. I think as an architect, people are expecting you to have a unique view, unique value, unique design to show to everyone. So they realize, this is something we were waiting for. We want something like this, or we don't want something like this. So they can discuss about this unique outcome, and then architecture become public value after. So I think showing the uniqueness is a starting point to starting this dialogue.
Thank you for lecture today, and we can see your exceptional work. That's very like we can see like the coexist that we have to think about when we design something like the new architecture that we are creating, like coexist with the nature. And this is landscape emotion, very emotional. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
เริ่มงงแล้วเขาเคยทำงานรูปแบบที่มันชัดเจนก่อนน้องเหมาเนี่ยผู้เหมาเนี่ยเขาก็เป็นคนไปวางแพทเทิร์นแรกก่อนต่อสียังไงเย็บยังไงใช้เศษสีอะไรบ้างทำตัวแรกขึ้นมาก่อนแล้วก็ค่อยส่งชิ้นงานต่อไปทีนึง
อันนี้แอบเห็นที่อยากถามโมดิล่าเลยเพราะว่าน่าจะเคสเดียวกันกับที่ชาริฟได้ออกแบบเรื่องการคลาสสีของหนังแบบเดียวกันใช่ไหมปวดหัวอย่างนี้ไหมคะมีภาพแบบหัวฟูแบบนี้ไหม